Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another fireside chat. I'm Liz Fickenshire, e-commerce marketing manager with Teikametrics. I've got Jason Boyce with me today. He is a great voice in the industry, a seasoned Amazon seller and author of the book, The Amazon Jungle, The Truth About Amazon. Jason, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Liz. I'm so excited to be here on your fireside chat. I love them, and I'm just excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. I read your book over the weekend, and we're going to get to the book in a second. But I was hoping that you could tell me a little bit about your experience as a seller, because you started selling on Amazon like super early, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I think Alistair is the only person I know who was selling on the marketplace before I was. Um, I started selling direct to consumer online. We were selling basketball hoops. Our company name was superduperhoops.com. My yeah, my brothers and I, we started that business and we were drop shipping basketball hoops and um, directly to the consumer from the manufacturers like Spalding, First Team, and a couple other brands out there. And we had this connection with a company called Overture in Pasadena, and we were living in LA at the time. And Overture invented pay-per-click advertising, and so we made this connection. We used to go down to their little tiny office in Pasadena, and they taught us how to get on the first page of search results for all Google wasn't the only search engine back then, and Bing, it was like six or seven, Alta
Ask
Vista, and all.
Jeeves and
Yeah, exactly, as Jeeves, yeah. And we were on the first page of search results for basketball hoops. Later, by the way, interesting point, that company was bought by Yahoo, and the technology was licensed by Google, and Google perfected PPC advertising and turned it into AdWords, and the rest is history. But there was a guy at Amazon who was hired to run the sports and outdoors category at Amazon. He picked up the telephone and called us and said, "Boy, you guys are all over the internet. We'd love you to sell your basketball hoops on our website." And I said, "Dude, what are you talking about? You guys sell books and VHS tapes." I mean, that's how long ago, right? It was like 2003. And he goes, "No, yeah, I'm here. I don't have a team. It's just me, but we're launching a sports and outdoors category. We'd like you to send us CSV files." And that's how my journey on Amazon started all the way back in 2003.
wow, that's and then how long did you sell on Amazon? And did you eventually expand your product offerings, or what was that like? So once you got on the Amazon platform, did it take a while? Like, just tell me all about that because it was so early.
Oh, it was the good old days, right? Making myself feel old here. But it was so wonderful because we had one fee. It was 15% of the sale. We were one of maybe three basketball hoop. Well, we were the first seller of basketball hoops on Amazon, even before Amazon was selling basketball hoops. And it was brilliant. I mean, they had a massive amount of traffic coming to the website. We went from 100,000 in the first year to a million in the second year, 2 million in the third year, and we just kept doubling every year. And we had sort of three iterations, three lives as an Amazon seller. And I was an Amazon seller. I was a top 200 Amazon seller for about 17 years. And so I started as a drop shipper until Amazon started selling our same stuff at 20% less. Then we transitioned to being an exclusive seller of other people's brand. And so we used to sell, we were the largest online retailer for Spalding basketball hoops and products for I think 4 or 5 years. We sold so much Spalding stuff, both on Amazon and our own websites and the other marketplaces, that they would invite my brothers and I on all expense paid weekend trips to the NBA All-Star game and put us up in the Ritz-Carlton, and we'd see, Shaq in the elevator. I mean, it was really cool. That's how much business we did with them. And then Amazon kind of kneecapped us. That was our first life. And then we came back and went back to Spalding and said, "Look, okay, we get it. You're selling to Amazon. They're big. They've got a bigger bank account than we do, but make these exclusive products for us and give us our own unique UPC code so that we would own the buy box." We did that. We doubled our revenue. Knew we were doing great with that. And then Amazon and our sales rep at yeah, and then our sales rep at Spalding called us one day, basically in tears, and he's like, "Look, Amazon just called my CEO. He said if we don't sell him the super duper hoops exclusives, they're going to stop buying from us." And I'm like, "Come on, man, they're not going to stop buying from you. This is a negotiating tactic." And they said, "We're sorry, we have to do it." So that was our second life that kind of came and went. And then our third life, we're like, forget this. We can't rely on other brands for the success of our business. So we created our own brand name, Harville, and we built our own hoops, our own fitness equipment, and our own home rec equipment. So air hockey, billiard tables, foosball tables, really fun stuff for the home, and our motto was to bring friends and family together. And that was so amazing. It was such an amazing experience to birth a brand, and we saw 4 or 5x the revenue with our own private label brand. And then, fast forward to year 17, my brothers and I are sitting around and we're like, I love you. I love being brothers. Let's just be brothers again and not business partners. So we had an exit. And then I started Avenue7 Media, my agency. And I take all those lessons that I learned over that 17-year period of, losing my own money, heartache, heartbreak, and solving those problems, and put those repeatable processes together in my agency, Avenue7 Media. So now we help other sellers sell on Amazon.
I think that's awesome. You're able to have so much insight into what anybody really selling on Amazon could be going through. So that's a great way to approach the industry, in that you understand the pain of being a reseller and the pleasure of being a reseller, but you also understand how to develop a private label brand, how to build that brand, and now you can help other people do that. So tell me a little bit about Avenue7 before we get into this book that I just consumed voraciously over the
You're
weekend.
a fast reader.
I
First of all, thanks for reading the book. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed it. And
did.
wonderful, Liz. And so Avenue7 Media, we help private label sellers. And I put this in the book. I think the safest way, the path to having success on Amazon is there. It's gotten much narrower now than it was, 17, 18, 19 years ago. But that's what we lay out as a strategy in the book, is to say, look, you got to really tap into the creative side of your brain instead of the accounting side of your brain, and create something that's cool, that's different. My co-author Rick Cesari says this all the time: difference better than better, right? That stands out on the organic search results page on Amazon, and it's better, so that people are compelled to leave amazing reviews. And that was just an incredible, meaningful experience. So now I look for sellers like that, brands like that, whether they're, they've got a product, they've got their own brand, whether it's direct TV folks, Instagram sellers, maybe it's folks who've been selling on Amazon and have been struggling. We call them the strugglers, who just don't have the experience yet of the pain and suffering that goes along with the learning process. And so we take those folks, and on average, we've doubled all of the clients that we've taken on. Obviously, it's a little bit different when we go from 0 to 1 million with a client, but that's what we do. And we do everything soup to nuts. It starts with research, both competitor and keyword research. We then we create these A+ listings that are both SEO'd, but also I pull from my co-author Rick Cesari's teachings about direct response TV. And he's got this great saying: features tell, benefits sell. So we create these benefits messaging marketing elements for each listing, and we see tremendous results. So we lay the foundation with the listing. We manage FBA inventory for clients. We put them on Teikametrics, which is one of my favorite Amazon software systems. It's just incredible. It saves our clients money on ads. They're incredibly high performing campaigns. And then we do the day to day. We answer calls. I mean, well, not answer calls, but we handle customer service, review management, et cetera. And we're basically our clients' outsourced Amazon department, if you will.
That's great. And I know that a lot of people have the idea for the product, or they've got the drive for a portion of the business, but actually learning the inside of Amazon, learning the inside of Seller Central, learning how to create effective listings, that can be a huge pain point for somebody, and they might not actually get to see any success out of their brand if they don't either learn it themselves or find somebody like you that can do it for them. So I think that's great. And with your breadth of experience and all of the changes you've seen take place since 2003, which I like to say that Amazon's still the Wild West, but that's when it really, really was the Wild West. Um,
It was the happy Wild West. There was no shooting involved. It was great. Now it can be harrowing. It can be a harrowing experience to be on Amazon right now, especially if you don't, what costs you is you don't know what you don't know, right? And Amazon is such a different platform compared to anywhere else. And look, we sold our products to Walmart stores, sporting goods stores, and it's just a totally different experience. We sold on all the other marketplaces, eBay, Sears, Jet, Newegg, Walmart, all those other marketplaces, and they're just each one has its own unique, and none are bigger than Amazon. I just saw a colleague who's written a book, Robin Gaster. He's a GW um, professor. He just wrote a book on Amazon. I just got a sneak peek of it. It hasn't come out yet. And he thinks that Amazon has 55% of online market share based on his analysis. And Walmart's second place with 5%. And so you have to be there. It's totally different. And so it helps to have a guide through the Amazon jungle, right?
Right. So let's talk about that, because you have written this book with the help of Rick, and you don't really hold back on what the disadvantages are and the challenges that a brand might face in the Amazon jungle.
Yeah,
So
I got to tell you, Liz, when I first sat down, Rick is the one that pushed me to write the book. We used to have coffee every Friday morning at the Issaquah Coffee House in Seattle when I was living in Seattle. And, I would teach him about Amazon. He would teach me about merchandising and direct response TV. It's just been a wonderful friendship. And he's like, you got to write a book. These are great stories. And I'm like, I don't know how to write a book. And so he goes, so he convinced me to do it. So he had written 4 books prior to this. So we sort of did this process together, and we went at it as sort of, let's write a book that's sort of this get rich quick scheme, how to get rich and how to make millions on Amazon, right? And I started to write that book, and I kept having these memories of every time Amazon, roadblocked us or kneecapped us. And I said, and on one of our Friday calls, I said to Rick, I said, Rick, I can't write that book. We have to be honest about, how challenging it can be. And so that's it. It's just sort of an authentic representation of my experience on Amazon, and in my opinion, the strategies and tactics that work. And so that's how we came at this. And I say in the book, Amazon would not be what it is today without the third party Amazon seller. They will not be what they're going to become in the future without the third party Amazon seller. And I feel like, especially in the last 5 years, they've forgotten that. And they've really, they've got significant challenges. I understand that there's counterfeiters, there's bad actors on the platform, but far too often, good people, good men and women creating amazing brands, creating amazing shopping experiences for their Amazon customers are going out of their way, and they're being punished because Amazon has no due process. They're judge, juror, and executioner many times, which is why I say you got to be private label, because you'll get less of those issues if you have your own private label. If you're a reseller, oh, it's just, I can't imagine going back and being a reseller with the environment the way it is on Amazon now.
it's definitely more challenging. I've only been involved in the industry since about 2014. And even then, I mean, there was a thriving retail arbitrage and online arbitrage opportunity on Amazon, which quickly, as I got more and more into the industry, met more and more sellers, realized, okay, well, now there's brand gating. Now you have to show invoices, where before you could just happily scan items at the end
Right,
cap at Rite Aid and send them on in and, make your money. And
right.
it's just it's a lot different. I do know some people that are still killing it with RA, but
Yeah, I do too. And it's interesting. It's not my game because it's a short play, right? It's a short-term thing. And one of the things I say in the book, and I say this to clients all the time, your Amazon listings, when you're a private label seller, are an investment. Once you get that listing and you're not sharing the buy box with anybody else, and you get that thing ranked, you can put it on your balance sheet because it's become a moneymaker now. And you can't do that as an RA if you're just attaching to other listings. Now, you can get a short rip and some profits, and there's plenty of folks out there that are super smart at that and they know how to make money. But I think as a long-term play, look, I was a seller for 17 years. You want to be in the game that long, make your own private label.
and I know a lot of resellers that have been smart enough to do exclusives, right? But that's even becoming more challenging, just like you and your brothers ran into, because if
Yeah,
Amazon decides, hey, hey, it's going really well for that guy, so why don't we do it ourselves? And again, there's no governor that says that they can't do that. And
right.
I don't think that I agree with you that I think that the third party seller has definitely had more challenges and more complication heaped on them in the last 5 years. And I think that's why people like you and me do this type of thing. This is why you wrote this book, because you want people to be successful. You want to help people, helpful first, and then if there ends up being a business relationship, that's great. Um, but they have to know, because the thing about selling on Amazon is that you can't say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know the rules," or "I didn't know how that worked." The onus is on you to understand all of it, because it's not like they're going to point you to a policy page and you're like, "Oh, gee, I didn't know that. Sorry, I won't make that mistake again." That's
Yeah.
not how it works.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. This is what gets me up in the morning, Liz. Is every day I fight for my clients with Amazon, and there's nothing more meaningful than solving a problem for my clients that maybe only a handful of people out there can do. And I learned this a long time ago. I was on a panel and I did some speaking things at the first Prosper show, the Amazon sellers, the big Amazon seller. My good friend James Thompson founded, and he invited me to that show. And after my panel, I was like, as often is the case with speakers, you get swarmed afterwards. And I had people come up to me and say, "Hey, Jason, I've got this problem." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I had that problem in 2005. Do this." Or, "Hey, I've got this problem. Oh yeah, I had that problem in 2010. Do that." And I realized something about myself, that it was much more meaningful to help others with their business on Amazon than it was for me to have my own business. And so I'm really happy. That's why I'm so happy about my agency now. Is we have a lot of experience and knowledge, and we help people fight the good fight, right? And that's what gets me up. It feels really good.
That's awesome, and that's what's needed in the industry is honest people who understand and can share that knowledge and help make other people more successful. Um, so tell me a little bit about, I was especially interested in the book, chapter 10, which is building your brand off Amazon. So, like you said before, you have to be there. You have to be on Amazon. But how much off Amazon brand building do you think enhances on Amazon sales?
It's a great question. More and more, it's influencing Amazon sales, and I would take this question all the way up to the 40,000 foot level and say, when you create a new product, that's great because you've been selling on Amazon for a long time. You've been listening to the negative reviews, fixing your product each time you reorder it, and making a better product. Once you reach that status where you're getting 4.5 to 5 stars on a consistent basis, that's when you need to go back up to the 40,000 foot view and say, I'm not just an Amazon seller anymore. I'm a maker of great products that are important in the market. And so that's when you want to talk about, how can I get more mind share? So when people think about a product like mine, I want them to think about my name. And so any way that you can do that offline has a very interesting effect. So instead of thinking about the mindset, I think to go at which is such a great question, Liz, is not necessarily how can I do things off of Amazon to drive more business to Amazon, because that's going to happen anyway, and I'll explain why in a second. But to think, how can I get more mind share? How can I get more people to see my great new product? And if you can do that with, if you're lucky enough to do some DRTV with Rick Cesare, if you're lucky enough to do Instagram, figure out Facebook, drive traffic on Google, if you could get TV placements on Good Morning America with your product, those kinds of things, all of those types of um, awareness campaigns are really useful, not just for your Amazon business, but for your brand. And that's when you can really start to diversify the sales channel. You're not going to probably not going to do as much business off of Amazon as you do other places, but when we reached that status with our brand, we got calls from all the big box retailers, and they said, "Hey, we saw you're a bestseller on Amazon. We want you to sell your product to us," and that was exciting. And so now why do so I've kind of avoided the question, Liz. I haven't really answered your question, but this is why. And I say this all the time. I believe half of the final clicks online, more than half of the final clicks end on Amazon, no matter where that first click started. So if your first click came from Instagram, if your first click came from Google, if you all you have to do is Google your product, and see how many Amazon links point back to Amazon from the Google first page of search results to know, no matter where you are, you're going to customers are going to end up, and we see this all the time. Rick and I share some clients who are in the direct TV business. Every single time they run a TV campaign for an infomercial, their Amazon business grows 100%. I've had other clients who had placements on Good Morning America. Every time they get a placement on Good Morning America, you can buy their product for 50% off on Good Morning America. And they do a lot of business with that. But on Amazon, when that TV spot runs, they're seeing triple digit growth at full price. So that's the power of Amazon, right? So absolutely go out there in as many places as you can to get your brand, do more brand awareness campaigns. But you don't have to do much else because those folks are going to come to Amazon anyway. They're going to pull up their Prime app. They're going to see if it's there. You have to make sure you're defending your brand name with ads because they're going to order it and it'll show up on their door the next day.
And it just is proof positive that people will refuse to pick up the phone nowadays.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't
Well,
want to do
they'll
it.
pick up the phone, but they won't call anybody on it. Well,
That's
and
right.
smartphones nowadays aren't any good for phone calls anyway.
Right. They might text you, but that's it. And Amazon has done a better job. They did their job. They're better at anyone in the industry at making it as convenient as possible, with the widest selection as possible, with the fastest delivery as possible. That Prime app's got 4 of your credit cards. It's got 35 of your shipping addresses, all your friends, family that you gift, right? There's no one else can say that. And so they're the dominant player in the market. Now, I think they're too dominant. I don't think there's daylight for the next Amazon to come up right now because they have been so successful. But that's a whole nother, podcast, I think, Liz.
Well, and with the extreme rapid growth, I think a lot of the pain points that third party brands are facing right now are a direct result of that rapid growth and Amazon's customer obsession, which is absolutely the way Amazon should be. But a lot has fallen between the cracks, and there's been a lot of catch up. Like,
Yeah,
"Oh, we should have a policy about this." Like
yeah,
when the whole uh, recently, "Oh, wait, we should probably not give people access to buyer information," you know?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
that's probably not a good idea. And
yeah,
even before that, with the whole review thing in 2016, where you used to be able to send your product to someone for free or for a deep, deep discount, and in return, they would leave you a review, and all they had to do is say, "I received this product at a discount for my honest review," or whatever. And there was a whole industry around that. And then
yeah.
in 2016, Amazon was like, wait a minute,
Poof.
reviews are the lifeblood of our platform. We can't be doing this because 90% of the reviews we're seeing are incentivized reviews. No more incentivized reviews. I called it
Yeah,
Reviewgate because it was shocking,
yeah,
but now it makes total sense, right? Because we
yeah.
want honest reviews. And obviously, there's a jillion ways you can game a system that allows incentivized reviews. And it's not like there aren't bad actors that are still, they're still doing it. People are still manipulating
Oh
reviews,
yeah.
fake review farms all over the place. I mean, it's still
Only the honest sellers stopped doing it, right?
right.
There's always this double standard with Amazon. Amazon will allow you to give 30 products away to their free review network in exchange for unbiased reviews, right? Unbiased
Right.
reviews.
Right.
But so they're
Buying
allowing
voices.
themselves. Yeah, and like, look, I say this often. I love Amazon's customer session. I got a Prime account, pry it away from my cold dead hands. I'm not giving it up. I love it, right? But the biggest money maker, the biggest customer base for Amazon Inc. is the Amazon seller. Amazon sellers drive more profit dollars to the bottom line at Amazon than AWS. So I'm going to repeat that. AWS is what all of the investors are talking about, is how Amazon's making money. Not true. Amazon sellers are they're financing all of this rapid growth of Amazon. And I always say this, like Mr. Bezos, our seller community needs a little bit of that customer obsessive love because we're one of your biggest customers. And I feel like they lose that. I feel like they've lost it. Maybe it's because they've had such rapid growth. When you're a $1 trillion company growing at 35% year over year, the wheels fall off the cart sometimes. We get that. But, there's no sort of due process. There's no way, they're the judge, juror, and executioner to so many sellers' businesses. If a seller's business gets suspended for 2 weeks, they can't make payroll. They may have 5 or 6 people on their payroll that they can't pay now. So you know, like I could go on and on. I love Amazon. I've been able to make a great living. Now, two businesses as a result of Amazon. I think they're a once in a generation company. And they've done everything that they can. However, I think they've lost sight of just how important the Amazon seller is. They haven't lost sight of it in the PR department because they're doing some really good advertising about how great they are for sellers. But I wish that the TV ads match the reality
I
on the
am
ground.
seeing some things that are encouraging, right? So I just recently did a webinar with Rachel Greer from Cascadia Seller
Great.
Solutions, and she was talking about the new Amazon social options. And they're not really all that new, but Amazon Posts, Amazon Live, Amazon Profiles, where you can actually put a link to your website. What? I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And they've never allowed that before. So it's nice that there's some effort that's apparent, but like a lot of things like voice of the customer and other things that Amazon has rolled out for third-party sellers, it's going to take investment on Amazon's part. It's going to take attention. It's going to take listening to sellers about how things are performing for them. It's going to take all of that in order for it actually to be useful for the third-party seller. So I have all the hope in the world that that's the direction that we're going. But in the meantime, that's why we're here. That's why you're
Right.
here. That's why we have these chats. That's why we have the wonderful, robust service and software provider community that we've got, because
Right.
we care deeply and passionately about these third-party sellers, and we want them to be successful, and we want to fill in all the gaps in their knowledge and solve all the pain points so that they can be successful, because there's so much to think about, there's so much to know, and there's so much that can go wrong.
So true. And I would just add that Amazon cannot replace the hard work, the product knowledge, the ingenuity, the capital, the grit of the third party seller. And I agree with you. I said it, Liz. This is what gets me up in the morning. I love helping sellers solve problems that they wouldn't have been able to do otherwise.
Me too, Jason. I think we're cut from the same cloth, because
Absolutely.
and I'm a terrible salesperson. I'm no good at marketing. All I'm good at doing is trying to be as helpful as possible and help connect people so that they can get their problem solved and get on their way to success.
Yep.
Um, so I recommend that everybody pick up this book. You can buy it on Amazon. I did. And it's really, I just love how well thought out the content was, and the story that you tell. And I loved like all of I saw so many of my friends in the endorsements part. And I was like, hey. And I mean,
Yeah.
forward by James Thompson, founder of the Prosper Show, owner, co-founder of Buy Box Experts, absolute titan in the industry, good friend of yours. Um, it's a great read, and I think that anybody who's thinking about selling on Amazon or who is currently selling on Amazon should probably pick it up and read it. Um, Now, Jason, I like to during these ask a couple of weirdo questions, because
Oh, great. I
wouldn't
love
be,
weirdo questions.
wouldn't be an interview with me unless I asked you something that made you uncomfortable. Um,
This is
so,
great. I love it.
so what is the weirdest job you've ever had?
The weirdest job I ever had. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I worked at a snack shop, a snack, what do you call it? Snack shop at a racetrack for these little tiny cars. They called them midgets at the time. And so I cooked hot dogs and sold sodas at this little mini racetrack in Central California. And it was so bizarre. It
And it
was
was a
like
popular place, like people came and
hugely
raced their
pop. Oh,
little teeny cars.
hugely popular. And some folks that didn't even have driver's license, some kids were driving these things and just zooming around in these little cars. There was just fabulous crashes, and it was a very odd. It was a very odd setting. The job itself maybe wasn't so weird, but the setting was really odd, and it was a lot of fun. I loved it.
That's a winner. I like that one. That's going on my list of best ones. Um, if you weren't in this industry, if you didn't do this, or this didn't exist anymore, or poof, it's the upside down, and Amazon doesn't exist, what do you think that you could do that would make you want to wake up in the morning?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, I'm unemployable at this point after being an entrepreneur for 20 years. So it would be something probably in the business community, and it would be something where, like you said, I could get up in the morning, something that has some sort of meaning attached to it. It's not, dollars are important, and that's great so that you can take care of your family. But what motivates me is being I see myself as a fighter. I'm an ex-Marine, so I joined the Marines because I wanted to fight, right? And I wanted to fight the good fight. And so any kind of industry where I could go in and sort of fight that good fight for the little guy would be what I would want to do. That would get me up in the morning.
That's awesome. And then lastly, what is your morning routine?
Oh, my morning routine. Oh, that's great. So I get up before everybody else, and I start my cup of coffee, and I meditate. I meditate for 20 minutes every morning. I do transcendental meditation, and it helps me clear my head, clear my RAM drive, and be refreshed for the day. And I honestly, I think I'd probably be in a room with padded walls if I didn't do that every morning.
That's awesome. Well, Jason, it's been such a pleasure. I hope that we see you again soon. Everybody pick up the Amazon Jungle. It's the truth about Amazon, the seller survival guide for thriving on the world's most perilous e-commerce marketplace. I love the words. It's a great read. If you need help with your Amazon business, Jason is here to help you. So a link to Avenue7 Media will be in the description of this video, and a link to the Amazon listing so that you can pick up this book and help propel your business forward. Jason, thanks so much.
Liz, thank you so much. And folks, Teikametrics, again, you can pry away the Prime account from my dead cold hands. Same with Teikametrics. It helps us save our clients money. It helps us optimize their campaigns in a way that humans can't. If you're not already using it, use it. Liz, I love your podcast. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Bye bye.